Each tree has its own unique features and preservation challenges, and our arborists employ industry-best management practices to ensure those trees are given the very best care to remain safely in the landscape for the current and future generations to enjoy. Today, many of the trees on the Capitol grounds have historic or memorial associations, making their preservation even more meaningful. We are honored to welcome this tree in memory of those who lost their lives in one of the worst domestic terrorist attacks our nation has ever endured. In the aftermath of this tragedy, the world witnessed the resilient spirit of Oklahoma as first responders, public servants, families, and neighbors came together to rebuild and recover. Directly across the street from the Alfred P. Murrah building, an unassuming American elm tree that endured the blast became a living symbol of that resolve and resilience, termed the Survivor Tree. In the years since the bombing, the Survivor Tree has continued to grow and endure, offering a sign of hope and solace. Clones and saplings of the Survivor Tree have been planted in countless yards and parks across the nation, and today we are adding the U.S. Capitol grounds to that list. We plant this tree today in view of the historic summer house built in 1881 to provide a place of rest to weary travelers. This house is still used for that function today, and now these visitors can be reminded of Oklahomans' enduring spirit of resilience for years to come. On behalf of all the people who work at the Architect of the Capitol, we are honored and humbled to be part of this memorial and provide a home to the clone of the Survivor Tree in the commemorative tree collection of the U.S. Capitol grounds. Thank you, and at this time I would like to invite Representative Stephanie Bice to the podium.
Well, good afternoon. First of all, I want to say what a privilege it is to be standing here in front of all of you this afternoon to commemorate and celebrate the 30th anniversary with the planting of this sapling from the Oklahoma City National Memorial Survivor Tree. I want to welcome the delegation. Thank you all so much for being here to participate in this important day. I certainly want to recognize the staff of the AOC who have worked hard along with my team to make today a reality, including Carol Campos, Patrick, as well as the AOC, Thomas Austin. So thank you for the hard work that you have put in these last several months to make this happen today. I want to give a special shout out to the president and CEO of the Oklahoma City National Memorial, Carrie Watkins. She has been a great partner in helping us make today a success, and part of that is actually getting this sapling to Washington, D.C. So we want to thank you for being here, for helping us organize this and making this a reality. I want to say thank you to the chair of the board, Dr. Susan Chambers, along with John Kennedy and all of the other board members who continue to support the Oklahoma City National Memorial and make sure that the message continues on of hope and resilience. I want to thank the family of Alan Witcher, Melinda, as well as Ryan, who lost their father, who is a Secret Service agent in the Alpha Pi Murrah bombing, and recognize all of those family members who are also joining us here today in remembrance. I want to thank Polly Nichols, who is one of those survivors, and we are thrilled to hear from her shortly. And lastly, I want to give a special shout out to Rob Sarr on my staff, who came to me with this idea some time ago and has worked diligently with the AOC, with Carrie and others to put this together. So I appreciate each and every one of you for your diligence in making this happen. It is a wonderful reminder of home, of the Oklahoma standard, of hope and resilience. And for decades to come, people can come to this place and they will see that sapling grow and thrive. And I think this is just a wonderful reminder of what Oklahoma City can and will continue to endure. So thank you for the opportunity to be with you all this afternoon. And at this time, I would like to introduce Senator James Langford.
Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. It is a typical Oklahoma spring day out here, isn't it? It's a little chilly, but what a great event to be able to gather. And it's great to see so many friends from Oklahoma that have come up to be a part of this significant event. We Oklahomans, every time we come to the Capitol, every year from here on out, for these folks that are here, you'll walk down this path and you'll see how the tree is doing. And you'll tell the story to whoever you're with as you walk around the Capitol, and you'll say, let me tell you a little bit about what that means. I was there that day, but you won't just do that. Our Oklahoma staff and the Oklahoma members of the delegation and other Oklahomans that serve up here will tell the story. There'll be a plaque next to this tree, and people will pause and to be able to see this little tiny tree next to these giant 200-year-old trees around it. And they'll say, what's happened with this? And they'll remember. Because for all of us that remember that day in 1995, we will never forget. But for the generation right behind us, they didn't experience it the same way we did. And this will be one more place and one more moment for us to be able to remind people what domestic terrorism looks like and what a tough state we really have that has proven Oklahoma strong. That tree, that survivor tree, has become the symbol of what that day meant and who we are as a state. If you walk into my office over in the Hart Building, you'll see hanging in my office a pen and ink drawing of the survivor tree. And it gives me a moment when guests come into my office to be able to tell them the story about what that tree means. If you were to go in my mom's backyard, it was a cancer survivor. You would see a seedling from the survivor tree there, where we planted that tree because my tough mom was a survivor. We want to be able to tell the story. We want generations ahead to be able to know this story. That there was a tree that had every single leaf blown off. It had bits of glass and debris in it and a burning car next to it. And in the days after that, sprang back to life. We're going to keep telling that story. So for all of you that have been engaged in this, and all the preparation and all the staff work that's been done, and for so many guests that have come that continue to make sure that we never forget, thanks for what you're doing. And this is one more way for us to make sure the nation never, ever forgets, and we learn the lessons of that day. Thank you all for being here.
Hi, I'm Susan Chambers, Chair of the National Memorial Board. I'm so glad to be here. And thank you, Mr. Austin, first architect of a Capitol I've ever met. Congresswoman Bice and Senator Langford, our Oklahoma delegation, and all the esteemed guests of families that were killed, those who survived, and everyone who's joined us today for this very special event. We're very, very happy that we're here on the grounds of our United States Capitol. The memorial mission statement, written within the first year of the event by our key stakeholders, included a requirement that one of the components of the memorial must be the survivor tree, and it instructed the advisory committee to take steps to protect and to preserve it. As the memorial was designed, the survivor tree at the Oklahoma City National Memorial Museum stands at the highest point on the memorial grounds, protecting the 168 empty chairs, the survivor wall, the reflecting pool, and the rescuer's orchard. Before the bomb, this tree just stood in a parking lot across the street from the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building. But on April the 19th, 1995, it became a picture of our community. It burned, but it did not break. Pieces of cars and of the Ryder truck were found in its branches in that barren parking lot, but it still did not break. Then on Good Friday, 1996, as President and Mrs. Clinton returned to Oklahoma City to greet the families, survivors, and first responders, just days before the first anniversary, the tree had leaves blooming again. Today, as we plant and dedicate this tree, which started from one of the seeds that our facilities team picks up each spring, and then we propagate it on a local Oklahoma farm. This survivor tree is a symbol of resilience and hope that we believe the memorial and museum stand for. It helps create a place of comfort, strength, peace, hope, and serenity. As we remember this 30th anniversary year, we thank you, Architect of the Capitol, Thomas Austin, Congresswoman Bice and Senator Langford, and all of your staff for leading this effort, and to the rest of our Oklahoma delegation. And collectively, for years, we have been very grateful for your leadership and guidance. We thank you for standing with us on our sacred ground to find common ground. May this tree always stand as a reminder of those who were killed, those who survived, and those changed forever on April the 19th, 1995. May it also stand as a testament to how our country came together on that day of darkness and how we all worked together then and still do to bring our community and our country into years of light. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Melinda Witcher, and I thank you all so much for being here. 30 years ago, on April 19th, 1995 at 9:02 in the morning, a bomb exploded in Oklahoma City, destroying the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building and killing 168 men, women, and children. One of those men was my father, Alan Witcher. I was 15 at the time, just a kid who was worried about boys and grades and parties, maybe not in that order. But when the bomb went off, my whole world changed. The things that mattered to me didn't seem important anymore. My day-to-day life felt empty. My heart was broken. The Survivor Tree was an American elm that grew in a small island of the parking lot near the Murrah building. The explosion destroyed the tree, like so many lives, breaking it into pieces so it looked like a skeleton of its former self, broken and in shambles, suffering the same fate as many of our Oklahoma community. It would have been easy during the rebuilding of the site to cut down this broken tree, but the decision was made to nurture it instead, to see if through care and attention that this tree could survive, like a small microcosm of the bigger picture that was happening in that community. So the tree was protected, it was pruned, it was fertilized, it was given extra soil and water. The tree was examined by experts, loved by everyone, until finally it began to flourish. It produced new growth, developed new branches, and then reached them out over the memorial grounds protecting that site. It grew and thrived because someone decided that even though this tree appeared to be broken beyond repair, it could be saved. The Survivor Elm is the perfect representation of the Oklahoma City Memorial because it symbolizes that resilience, strength, community, and our ability to rise above the ashes of tragedy when we help each other. The progeny of the Oklahoma City Survivor Elm is being planted across the nation. Today, 30 years after the bombing, the Survivor Elm is being planted here in our nation's capital. I recently read a book by Robin Wall Kimmerer called The Serviceberry, where she talks about something called a gift economy. In a gift economy, community members exchange goods for the betterment of each other, regardless of financial gain to themselves. It's about giving where there's a need instead of being motivated by profit, because when everyone is willing to give to each other, the whole community thrives. She talks about how gift economies will pop up when tragedy strikes, and she is absolutely right. I remember the days and weeks after the bombing, how generous the community became, not just with goods, but with time, with understanding. Our American community came together with no other objective but to help and support people in need, to support and lift up the people of Oklahoma City who had suffered this incredible loss. The nation did not allow tragedy to destroy hope. I challenge all of you to strive for a gift economy mentality in your lives. Look around for those in need, help those in need, give freely, because when we all stand together, nothing can knock us down. When we all stand together, we thrive and grow and flourish like the Survivor Tree.
Oh my goodness, look at you all. Polly Nichols, and I am very, very grateful and thankful to be here. I'm here to say thank you to our team in Congress. Each one of you, we couldn't do it without you, and we will continue the journey together. I'm here to tell you thank you for a wonderful group that we hold in the memorial, and it is the FSRs, the family members, survivors, and rescue workers. So I am here as a family member. My cousin, working in the Department of Agriculture, died that morning. I am a very, very blessed and lucky survivor. I was, my office was in the Journal Record building right across the street from the Murrah building. I was the executive director of the Oklahoma Foundation for Excellence in Public Education. And we are the organization that honors 100 academic all-staters from the public schools in all of your districts, and I hope you know what I'm talking about. I was standing by a window, and I had quite a few glass cuts very deep into my neck, and we think that I perhaps was one of the very first that are injured that got into surgery, and because of that and a number of other very special things that happened, I'm here. The other reason that I'm here is that I've had a very long and deep relationship with this little sapling's father. The tree was in a parking lot outside the Journal Record building where I was, and I parked there quite often. I could not understand why this tree was continuing. This was quite a few years before the bombing. I would walk by it and I would think, it is so ugly, and why don't they cut it down? There was one little branch like this on this side and one little branch like that over here, and seriously, that was about it. The bark was painful. It was quite ugly and misshapen. That's our American elm. It would irritate me that it had not been taken down. Now, I pass under that tree quite often. It's a thriving symbol of the effect of the bombing on our community. We survived. I would go to that tree and I whisper, "I'm so sorry." A couple of times I've cried. It is now our memorial logo. It represents us to the world. Each one of you have talked about that. I had only looked at it from the outside, the misshapen limbs. I was not conscious of the inner tree and the depths of the roots that sustain that tree. That was a priceless lesson to me, and I think as we go through the area of time in which we are now, that it's a very good thing to think about. I like to tell this story to students when I get to talk to different classes and kids, and I pair it with how we look at and interact with people today. It was a huge lesson for me, and I'm so pleased to have 3 surviving trees in my yard. I do walk among them, and I also walk among the tree at the memorial, and I do continue to say, "I'm sorry." So let's all learn from that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all for your remarks, and thank you for coming to today's commemorative tree planting ceremony. At this time, we invite our distinguished guest to plant the tree, if you come up here, we have some shovels ready for you, and we've got some members of my team who will direct you. So why don't you go and stand up here. So I think you want to take a little small shovel full of dirt and go get yourself positioned around the hole and give our photographers a moment to get your picture, I think. All right. All right, we coming? Everyone get a chance? Okay, on the count of, whoop. All right. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Yay. Thank you all for coming today. This concludes our ceremony.